What's up, guys? It is your Fit Dog, aka Kristen Simone, and I'm back with your weekly dose of medicine. Today, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be talking about what things I did differently in order to get accepted into my top 3 schools. I'm very excited, so stay tuned. Okay, so I've kind of already gone through my journey a couple of times, but I will say that this time I successfully executed and did what I needed to do, and I really attribute that to getting a mentor. I was fortunate enough that my dad played basketball at UNC Charlotte, and one of his assistant coaches had a daughter, and she actually went to medical school. So my dad was big in around Charlotte. I mean, he played professional basketball. He ended up going overseas. He was also a pastor in Charlotte, so his name is really big. So I'm grateful that even though he's not here, he still continues to bless me just through his networking and just through me being his daughter. So that truly does mean a lot, and I was able to meet my mentor through that relationship, and she really just helped me figure out what I needed to do differently in my application. And to be honest, it's not like some secret. It's not, some magic, concoction that you need to have regarding your experiences or your personal statement or even your MCAT. It really just depends on how you portray yourself. And my mentor, I really attribute me getting accepted into my top 3 schools to my mentor. And to be honest, I probably could have gotten accepted into more schools because I ended up just declining invitations because I had already, come to my top 3, and I got all of those interviews within 1 month. So I was like, there's no need to do any more interviews. I need to just start saving money and things like that. So I'm very blessed and I'm very grateful. And like I said, I attribute that to my mentor because she was able to give me resources. And what I mean by that is she was able to, if she couldn't help me with any clinical experiences as far as shadowing what she does, she was able to reach out to some other doctor friends that maybe maybe did what I was interested in, or just some people that were open to mentorship, or some people that were open to shadowing and just helping me get experiences. So even though she may not have been able to help me in that area, she was able to provide me with other people to help with my personal statement. Having a mentor was really the number one thing, but this is kind of just a piggybacking off of having a mentor because my mentor introduced me to another doctor, and she helped me revise my personal statement. And I felt like the first time my personal statement wasn't bad. I thought that it portrayed me, and it portrayed the type of person I am and why I would make a good doctor. Or I felt like I wasn't as specific my first time, and the doctor that I worked with really helped me bring out all of my experiences, not just track, not just like my dad's passing, but my experiences and being a reapplicant and expressing my vulnerability and my failures, and just like picking up on the things that I did and the character traits that I enhanced from reapplying and sticking to my goals. So I really feel like that was a big part as well. My mentor introducing me to a doctor that helped me revise my personal statement, which is very important. I do recommend that you have a doctor look over your personal statement. I think that the career centers that you have at colleges, I don't think that those are bad resources, but I think that it would be more helpful to talk to a doctor because they've been there. And I also will piggyback off of that and say that it'd be more helpful to talk to a younger doctor. I was trying to create a relationship with an older doctor because I just needed somebody. Like, I just needed somebody to vent to, somebody that could help me, somebody that has been in my shoes, someone that has, is where I want to be. And the older doctors, they don't really know the rules, I guess. I feel like it was easier to get into school back then, so they may use their experiences and say like, hey, well, I don't know much, but I think you can do this, and you can use your personal training experience to get in, and it depends on how you word it and things like that. But it's like they really don't know because it's getting more and more competitive. It's getting harder and harder to get in. So I would just say, to save yourself some stress and just to feel more secure, I would try to I would try to link up with, I don't know if that's any better, but you catch my drift. I would try to connect with a younger doctor. And I know that that's not like easy, but I would just start by asking family members, asking friends, like, do y'all know anybody, somebody's uncle's cousin's stepmom's brother, like, who do you know that's a doctor? Because I need somebody to get in touch with. I will also, if you like go to the doctor's office, you know, and maybe you're at your school or you're just at a regular checkup, I would ask, hey, like, you know, I am an aspiring physician, or I'm a pre-med student, do you know any doctors in here that allow shadowing? Now some places like Novant, it just depends. Like, they have like contracts where they don't want like strangers, you know, knowing health information. But they do have, it depends. It really just depends, but that's why you have to ask, because some places do allow shadowing. But I would say, even if you may not be able to necessarily shadow a specific person at Novant or Atrium or whatever, scribe me. That is my second tip. I feel like my experiences as a medical scribe really boosted my application, and I'll tell you why. I had so much to talk about on my application. I learned so much. I was a medical scribe in Charlotte with a hemonc physician, so she did hematology and oncology, and she did mainly breast cancer, but she also did some colon cancers, genitourinary cancers, so prostate, bladder, testicular. What else? She even dealt with some like esophageal cancers, and I'm trying to think. I learned so much, and unfortunately she did take on the role of kind of like a primary care physician sometimes. So I learned a lot about primary care, not as much as I would have if I had like actually shadowed a primary care physician or scribed for one, but I did definitely learn a lot generally. I don't feel like it was all, you know, specialized. And also I learned a lot about blood cancers and just blood disorders. So, you know, multiple myeloma, MGUS, which is the precursor for that. I learned so much. Like, I cannot even begin to explain. Like, and I will say that that experience played a big role in what I may want to do in the future, and that is surgical oncology. So I had a lot to talk about, and I learned so much. And I feel like that is what boosted my application, because number one, I got as close to a doctor as I could. Literally, we spent the most time together out of like everybody in her life, everybody in my life. Like, we were together like 8-10 hours out of the day. So I knew her, she knew me, like, we worked together. So I think what I'm trying to get at is, you want to get as close to a doctor as you can. That way you can, one, know what the everyday life of a doctor is to figure out if you even want to do it. And two, it just helps you it helps you be more competitive, because you've literally been right by this doctor's side and you've learned so much. Now, if you're doing family medicine, I have heard that if you're like scribing for family medicine or like pediatrics, it's like kind of boring, or it gets kind of easy after a while, because it's kind of just like you're going in for checkups. And like, this is just what I heard from someone. Please, if this experience is different, please somebody comment down below, because I would love to know what your experiences are. But I heard that like basically the less specialized, the more boring. You may not be able to talk about a lot of things on your application if you scribe for those you know, those general I'm trying to say those general areas. But I know for me, I learned so much and I could speak on it. And that was what set me apart. I could speak on it, and I think I allowed my experiences to kind of connect themselves. So I'll give you an example. I had the opportunity to prepare chemotherapy drugs whenever I worked as an IV hospital pharmacy technician. And then it kind of came back full circle when I started working as a medical scribe, and my doctor was prescribing those chemotherapy drugs that I would make. So it was kind of like, you know, I'm seeing different parts of patient care. I'm seeing the moving parts. I'm seeing how the pharm tech makes the drug, the pharmacist checks the drug, the nurse goes and administers the drug, and the drug comes from sitting at a doctor's office, looking at an ultrasound, looking at, you know, the biopsy, looking at the lumpectomy or whatever it is, and just seeing that come back full circle. So the fact that I could actually talk about all that was like, you know, I'm not making this stuff up. And a lot of schools, they can tell if you just have like a bunch of things on your application, but you can't really talk about anything. Like, that's not what you want. I'd rather stick with 3 good things that you're doing, whether it be community service, whether you're tutoring for a year or 2, or maybe even 3, however long you want, and then get you some good clinical experiences, maybe even research. I didn't do any research. I don't think you have to do research. I think it depends. If you like it, then do it. I think you should do what you like to do, and you'll be able to speak on that, and admissions committees will be able to see that. But I think it just matters about the quality of your experiences, not the quantity. So I want y'all to keep that in mind whenever you're thinking about applying as well. So again, clinical experience is getting as close to a doctor as I can. That's what helped me, as well as perfecting my personal statement, getting a mentor. My mentor was able to just give me tips about different things to look out for on my application, certain schools to apply to, and just keeping me sane, looking over my stuff. And she's younger as well, so it really helped me, because it's like she kind of understands that it's competitive. Now, I would even go so far as to say that when she applied, it wasn't as competitive as it is now, and it's just going to get more and more competitive, which doesn't really make sense to me if we have like a shortage, if we're going to have a shortage in 2024. I don't really get it. And I'm not saying that everyone should be a doctor, you know, because you don't want just anybody being a doctor, but I still don't get, it's just not making sense. But that's neither here nor there. I would just say those things really helped me, along with volunteer experience. So I got the chance to work as a mentor slash tutor at it was at a community church, and it was located in Charlotte, and I tutored and supported inner city kids that were in private school, but I think it was like through like the magnet or something. So they needed more support, educational wise and even emotional. And so I was there to help with their schoolwork, look at their progress reports, help them read, play sports with them. You know, like after we had like an hour of like, you know, working and tutoring, and then we had an hour of just like playing outside, waiting for their parents to come pick them up. So we also incorporated like faith and knowing what it is to be kind and be loving, you know, those good acts of service and things like that. So I was a part of that. So I think that also helped me, because it kind of related to like serving the underserved, even though it's not health related. So I would say definitely be a part of some type of community service, whether it be creating your own, you know, nonprofit with a good purpose, or I really don't know. The list can go on and on. I know I did some other community service. Like I worked at Second Harvest Food Bank, and I sorted food. But like I said, I was able to speak more on the tutoring than I was the food sorting. And don't get me wrong, I still included it on my application, but just to give me like a variety of things. But I think that community service was also like a really good thing that I put in my personal statement that I was able to talk about on interviews as well. So I think I covered pretty much everything, but I'm just going to go back and look at my notes to make sure that I did. Don't be afraid to express your failures in your personal statement. I expressed that I was a, you know, reapplicant. I had to retake the MCAT. I had to just go back to the drawing board, and I expressed those things. I expressed what I learned. I expressed how it has made me a better person, and how that will make me a better doctor. So don't be afraid to be vulnerable. I've said that in my past videos. Vulnerability really does get you interviews. And it's not like you have to be like, woe is me. But it's important to talk about, you know, grit, perseverance, tenacity, ambition. That's what they want to see. You have to have those qualities in order to endure 4 years of school and then 3 years of a residency at minimum. So, you know, you have to have those traits. So it's important to make sure you maximize on that whenever you talk about your failures, whenever you talk about the things that you weren't good at. Maximize on what did you do to get better? What did you learn from that experience? How did you come out on top? So don't be afraid to do that, y'all. I think it sets you apart. It makes you human. It makes people want to look at your personal statement and read it and connect with you. I mean, these are doctors, but they're people too. I mean, you want to be a doctor, but you're a person too, right? Okay, so like, don't be afraid to do that. Retake your MCAT if you feel it is too low. I retook my MCAT. I scored a 498 at first, and then I took it again, and I got a 506. Look back at the MCAT reveal if you haven't already. So, yeah, I would say that you know, I didn't have the highest MCAT, but I'm very well rounded. I had a lot of things to bring to the table. So I would say that if you don't feel confident in your MCAT, or if your MCAT score is lower than the average of most of the schools that you're applying to, I do recommend that you retake the MCAT just so you can get a better chance of getting in. You don't want to waste all that money and all that time putting in secondary applications, writing passages, spending money on, I mean, it's a lot. Save yourself from doing that if you can retake your MCAT and, you know, get a better score. And I'm not by any means saying that that's easy, but I'm just saying that I feel like that is where your mindset should be. If you see that, you know, oh, it's like way below average than like 75% of the schools that I'm applying to. Yeah, I would definitely say that that's a big thing. One other thing that I would say that's piggybacking off of that is that I applied to like 19 schools this cycle, and last cycle I only applied to like maybe 6. So I would say to reapply, y'all, and apply to more schools, give yourself more options. I will say that, like, I didn't apply to Chapel Hill the first time because my advisor told me that I couldn't get in, and I don't know why I believed her. But the 2 schools that I got accepted into, ECU and Howard, I applied with them last year and they didn't even look at me. Well, ECU interviewed me, but this year I got acceptances. So I would say that all those things have to do with what I just told you. I also got interviews to other schools as well, and that just gives you some cushion. It gives you some options. You don't have to feel like, you know, oh my gosh, I'm only hearing back from one more school and all the rest of them have said no. I would just give yourself some more cushion. I do understand everybody's financial situation is different, so do what is best for you. But I'm just saying, from my experience, I applied to more schools and I felt more secure, and I just feel like that's the best thing to do, just when you're applying. And, you know, I know some people that have only applied to 6, you know, 5, maybe even 1. I'm just telling you my experiences, so do what's best for you, but I'm just giving you my feedback. I think that's it, y'all. I don't think I have anything else to say. I'm very excited with the future, and I'm very excited for everyone else that is stepping into their first year of med school in 2022. So I'm super excited. Let me know if there's anything else that y'all want to see. I definitely have videos coming for y'all, and but just let me know if you have any ideas or if there's anything specific that you want to know. Leave it down in the comments below. And do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you're notified every time that I post a video, y'all. It's free, but it does wonders for me. So thank you so much for watching this video. And peace.